Wait, why wouldn't I take the glasses off? What the fuck? I can't do it anymore. I can't sit idly by when my man gets denigrated on national TV. I'm not going to waste your time, and frankly, I'm not going to waste my time. Sit down and enjoy the story of the hashtag payoff for why Kane in the WWE in 2017 is probably one of the best things that could possibly happen, and why your favorite superstar that's facing him now may be on to bigger and better things in the future. This is the payoff. Whoa, 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 whoa. This man's almost 50 years old and he's still going to WWE. This man should be running for Congress. Why is he in the WWE? Well, I'm going to break it down for you. This is episode 1. This is hashtag the payoff. And the topic is none other than my man. What is going on, guys? My name is Tubby Emu. You can just call me Eric. We're not going to dick around anymore. We're going right in. This is hashtag the payoff. If you are a wrestling fan like myself, I have been so invested in the last 5 years. I have poured my heart and soul into the WWE. Minus my money, because thanks to the network, I don't actually have to pay for pay-per-views anymore, which is great. But I've been hearing a lot of buzz. There's this one guy that people are like, why is this man still wrestling? Why is this man still beating my favorites in 2017? Why is this man not retired? Well, guess what? I came with some receipts, because if you're going to have a theory, well, okay, some people called it a fan fiction theory that I should be posting on Tumblr for all the world to see for fan fiction, but this is not fan fiction. Because hashtag the payoff is real. I've been documenting Kane's history for the last 10 years in the WWE. So in this episode, hashtag the payoff, Kane. Now, not only is Kane our subject, hold on, we got to add some flames to Kane. Kane's theme song. That's Kane in WWE. Let's call him a central figure. The simple fact is, over the last 5 years, Kane has been that corporate guy for WWE, as has the Big Show. We talk all the time how Kane and Big Show would flip-flop, but the simple fact is that when the authority needs, and when I say the authority, I don't just mean Triple H and Stephanie. I mean when it's in the best interest of the company, Kane and Big Show step in. Now, you may be asking yourself, tell me how. How do they step in? Well, let's go over a little-known guy named Daniel Bryan. We'll call him DB up here. So, Daniel Bryan was in the WWE. Now, Daniel Bryan really hadn't been on a roll yet at this point. Daniel Bryan was United States champion. He was, well, let me rephrase that. Twice, he faced Sheamus at WrestleMania, and it did not go very well. The first year was moved to the pre-show where he wasn't even there. The next year, he faced Sheamus, and 18 seconds changed his life forever with the no's and the yeses. But then eventually, he was paired with a guy named Kane. Now, this seems to happen a lot in the WWE. Big Show and Kane were a tag team. Kane is that guy in WWE. He's that most versatile character they have. Because Kane serves the company. Kane is the guy that when you need something, he's there for you. People said, why is Kane coming out? Well, let me say this. Why does Kane have to be here? We know he was with Daniel Bryan. Why does he have to be here for Taker? Why does this man have to be here to redeem the soul of The Undertaker? It's already been laid on TV between John Cena and Roman Reigns that I retired The Undertaker. Well, the truth is, he may not be retired. From the promotional photos of the 25th anniversary, The Undertaker is there, and The Undertaker is being advertised. So that probably means The Undertaker is coming back. Now, if Undertaker was coming back, would he be going after all his enemies and his foes that went after Taker? Or would he slowly, systematically clear a path? Would he try to change focus of all the superstars? Because that's what Kane does in WWE. Last year, Kane got involved with Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, and I popped for it. I went nuts. Hashtag, fuck you, Pauls. I mean, I got the receipts here. Last year, Kane came out and beat Bray Wyatt, and people lost their mind. I'm a wrestling fan. I buried him by losing. Well, why is he buried, though? Bray Wyatt went on to WrestleMania for the WWE title. Buried! I should probably do the Santino thing. Buried! Now, I will say it was a very weird match, and it did involve creepy things on the... Okay, it was really weird, and then look where Bray's gone from here. But for the most part, Bray Wyatt's actually been featured and used. Now, what was the point of Kane and all of that? Tell me, you're this fan fiction guy, you're caught up in all this. Well, let me tell you. Bray Wyatt, when Bray Wyatt transitioned, he was still kind of with the Wyatt family, who was lingering and doing their own thing. But who was it that came in like a wrecking ball and separated the Wyatt family? That was Kane. And I got the receipts for that. So Bray Wyatt, let's go another orb. Now Bray Wyatt is in this orb. He is there. Now, why is Bray Wyatt in this orb? Well, he's in this orb because it was actually Kane who went after the Wyatt family. For those of you that don't remember, it was actually Kane in the WWE at first that suffered at the hands of the Wyatt family in that Inferno match, where they actually threw the tarp over and came in the ring in his very first SummerSlam pay-per-view against them. And then eventually it led to a slow build where Bray would finally wrestle months later, but you would build up the tag team first. Well, the Wyatt family was known as a family, and you look at this year, Sister Abigail is finally evolving, and we're starting to see Sister Abigail. Except Sister Abigail isn't this person. It isn't an actual person like Paige or somebody that they've speculated. Bray Wyatt has these powers and these abilities, and some people call it stupid, and I get it, but I mean, let's be honest. The Undertaker's got an urn, and we believe that dead souls ran around the place. So not only do we have Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt, but Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt are actually connected, because years ago, ipso facto, they went after each other. Now, when they went after each other, it was actually near the end of Team Hell No. And eventually, Daniel Bryan would try to go on to WrestleMania, even though Batista would be going on his run, but he would face Bray Wyatt up until that point. Is when he finally broke away that he was able to capture that moment and go on to bigger and better things. Well, I mean, besides the IC title, but I mean, that's not the point, and then eventually retiring later. But it was the ultimate sacrifice. Now, granted, his injuries played the cause in here, but who was Daniel Bryan set to face? After his big title, he faced a guy like Kane, and people were really speculative about this. Why is he facing Kane? Now, I know technically it was in a storyline, but that doesn't matter. Kane is in the orb. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, tell me, this doesn't mean anything. You're just drawing stuff up on the board. You've got Bray Wyatt, Daniel Bryan, Kane. Who else? Let me throw Randy Orton in there, because Randy Orton got involved with Kane, and they went back and forth. So we'll add Randy Orton to the bubble. Now, RKO last year feuded with Bray Wyatt. And it was actually Randy Orton who kind of separated out the Wyatt family. Now, how did that happen? This guy. Direct cause and effect. Kane would split up these two by taking the Wyatt family, Luke, out of the equation. And one of the last matches that Luke actually had on TV was against Kane. Now, we know that they're being repackaged as the Bludgeon Brothers. So you've served two things. Now, granted, the injuries played a part in this, but Kane separated these guys so Bray could go on to being on his own. Bray could do his own thing at WrestleMania. Now, the outcome, the payoff, may not have been there. Wow, well, we got... Toby, really? You got Kane involved? And our end result is Bray Wyatt losing at Mania? This goes back to Kane and the Authority. This goes back to Randy Orton. John Cena, Randy Orton, who became the first Universal Champion when they merged the titles, the WWE World Heavyweight title, whatever the hell it was called. It was Randy Orton. Because Randy Orton and Kane are symbiotically tied. They just are. They have been. Now, there's somebody else that we have to introduce to this bubble that was a big part of the corporate version of this man. Seth Rollins. So we'll add in Seth Rollins over here. And we can also add in J&J. So we have Seth Rollins now, who is going with Kane in the Authority. He's basically protecting him. He's doing everything. But eventually, he turns. Eventually, Seth Rollins gets too big for his own damn britches. Eventually, Seth Rollins needs to be taught a lesson because, yeah, it wasn't plan A, it wasn't plan B, it was plan C. Triple H came through with plan C, that the architect, Seth Rollins, was on to bigger and better things. He saw that. He was the architect. He created that. And when he turned, it shocked the world. But eventually, Seth would get a little too full of himself. He'd be a little too cocky. He'd be a little too, hey, man, how you doing? And that's when Triple H's new project, Finn Balor, came in. Now, where does Finn Balor relate to all this? Well, Finn Balor was just recently introduced into this. Finn. Now, I know what you're saying. These could just be random matches. Kane has had a career of 20-plus years. How is there an actual storyline going into it? Well, if you look at the history of Randy Orton, The Shield, Big Show, you've had Kane versus Randy Orton. You've had Kane a part of tag teams going against The Shield. You've always had Kane in this role that not only was he feuding against The Shield at one point, he was also the guy that eventually protected Seth Rollins when he broke up with The Shield, and Seth Rollins was the guy. Think about that. How awesome is that? That we can get to a point where you can be feuding with him, but eventually you're the guy protecting Seth Rollins. Because Kane serves corporate WWE. I can't put it in bigger, fatter letters than that. WWE. Corporate. Kane. 100%. My man Kane is working with WWE corporate. Now, why would he be able to do this? Well, the freedom to be able to do whatever he wants. Kane can leave, get up and go if he wants to do his action campaign running for mayor of Knox County. That's fine. Why bring him back now, though? What's the point? Is he here just to revolve around The Undertaker? Is it as simple as that? And the answer is no. Because the payoff isn't as simple as saying, well, Kane's going to get involved and this is going to happen, because I don't have those answers. But the one thing that I do know is that Kane has been involved in some of your biggest storylines. And people always get upset when Kane gets that W. Why does a guy that's been here how many years still pick up Ws? Why is he now beat Finn Balor? Well, what do those three guys have in common that Kane's kind of going up against? Kane went after Roman Reigns. Now, initially, you would have to go, he's back for Taker. But is he back just for Taker? Because what do these guys have in common? Let's go over them. Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, you have those two guys. Now, both of these guys are still owed kind of the championship rematch. They both should be in the picture. Finn has said, I am going after my title. I am done with Bray Wyatt. Bray's out with injury, but I'm refocusing on my title ambitions. The problem with that is, Kane steps in. Kane steps in like a wrecking ball and goes, not happening. And that's going to piss off a lot of fans in today's WWE. They're going to be like, why? Did they not know Finn's like the future? What reason could they possibly have to do with bringing back Kane? Come on. But see, this is where people miss the payoff. Because guys that Kane's actually been involved with, like Big Show, who's put him over on numerous occasions. Big Show has put over guys like Braun Strowman on numerous occasions. They're there to serve the corporate machine. Big Show helped put over Braun huge. Kane now, feuding with Roman Reigns, who's out with an injury, is going after Finn Balor. He's distracting all the guys that should be focusing on the Universal title, freeing somebody else up to go for that title. Now, who's that going to be? Is that going to be The Undertaker? Is that going to be maybe himself? Maybe Kane is coming back to win the WWE title and Kane wants to do bigger and better things. Or maybe, just maybe it's a distraction play. Seth Rollins is with a Shield. Finn Balor's gone. What about Taker? Where does Taker fit into this? This may seem impossible. This is like a big crock. But it all just comes back to one simple thing. Corporate WWE. Because corporate WWE has used Kane in a way, if we go back to Team Hell No years, they got him over with Dr. Shelby. They used Kane to get Daniel Bryan over to levels that we hadn't seen before. Then they used Kane to try to stop the Shield. When the Shield was becoming too powerful, the New Age Outlaws and Kane actually teamed up to face the Shield, where they lost. And Stephanie McMahon berated. Stephanie McMahon went after Kane and told him to find the demon that you truly are. That guy, because WWE, they are the wrecking balls. They're the way to kind of steer the path forward. If you get off track, Kane kind of brings you back into focus, or Kane distracts you because the Authority has some sort of big game plan. Think of it like a chessboard. Kane is like, he's the most versatile piece on the board. What would that be in your opinion? Honestly, I would say Kane is the queen of WWE. Now, what do I mean by that? He can be used as a tag team. He can be used solo. You could throw him into a multi-man match. You could legit focus him as a beast. There isn't really much you can't do. But the queen does have some weaknesses, because the queen is at the behest of the king. Because the queen can only do so much without having the king in play, because ultimately the king is the guy that you got to protect. If the king loses, you lose. So when your job is on the line, if you cannot beat Seth Rollins, eventually after protecting him for so long, and eventually he would get his opportunity to face him, but because he couldn't win, he was fired as the director of operations. He wasn't useful to the Authority. Kane is this central figure. Kane is the payoff. When Kane comes involved with Bray Wyatt, it's because on the chessboard, WWE Corporate saw Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. They would tag team. They would do their thing. How did they get there, though? Kane. Kane started it. Kane separated him from the Wyatt family. Bray Wyatt would then team with Randy Orton. Then they would go on to face each other. And eventually at WrestleMania, they would have their match. Kane was nowhere to be seen. So come now. Why now? Why is Kane here? For what reason? Is Kane just coming back to bury all this young talent? Or is Kane, like many people have speculated, just being used to make guys look even better? And my answer would be, why wouldn't they? Look at the history of work of Kane. You can't deny this. I have the receipts. Kane has worked with guys like Daniel Bryan. He's worked with guys like Daniel Bryan, Luke Harper. He teamed with his own brother, The Undertaker, to face the Wyatt family. This goes deep, and this is one of the things about WWE, because the payoff isn't about any one thing, because WWE, the best stories come from connecting the dots. Not everything has to be linear. Do I think in 2011, when all of this started, that it would lead to this point? No. But that's the thing about wrestling. We live in this area where we can almost define it and create history ourselves. We crap on WWE for being revisionist, but when you look back on a timeline of history, you could possibly get some of this stuff. I'm not promising these payoff episodes are going to be absolutely phenomenal, and I'm not promising that it's going to lead to the payoff on the screen that you want. I'm going to try to break down all angles and look at it from a side of, I don't know if it'll be good and I don't know if it'll be bad. But with the payoff, I can tell you, from experience, Kane, Finn Balor, Taker, Seth Rollins, RKO, Bray Wyatt, Daniel Bryan, the Wyatt family, Big Show. Kane is a guy you don't want to sleep on. Kane is that guy. Hashtag the payoff when you ask, what is the point of Kane coming back? If Kane gets involved with your favorite superstar in 2016, 2017, 2018, chances are they're going on to bigger and better things. Now, it may not have paid off because of the timing last year for a guy like Bray Wyatt, but he was still fighting for a title. The payoff may not always be what you want, but when you look a little deeper, when you find the receipts, you can get some pretty creative stuff. Now, this is really bad. This is a horrible board. I'd like to get some support on this, guys, and I'd like to know what you would like to see me break down. Is there any figure in WWE? Now, eventually, these will go to more scripted, and I'll try to have, I don't want to make any promises here, but I'd love to have a teleprompter, have some actual facts, a script, some research into it, even more than I already have for this. This is kind of an off-the-cuff test to actually see if this is something we can do. Now, when I look at the world of WWE, I'm not going to look at it from a point of WWE can't do anything right. I'm not going to do it. I won't do it. Now, I will complain if the show isn't good or if it doesn't gain my interest like I would any other show. Because that's the thing with WWE. I don't think about all my other favorite shows until the day they air. Shameless, my favorite show. I watch the show, maybe think about it once or twice during the week, and then I get ready for the next Sunday. In WWE, I think that's where I've gotten to the point where I don't really follow along with anything else on the YouTube, the other shows. I tune in. If it's good, we talk about it. If it's bad, we don't. I don't need to sit here and constantly go, WWE doesn't know what they're doing. Because I don't think any of us do. The good thing about WWE and wrestling in general is you can piece it together and find what you like. Just because the company doesn't book what you like doesn't mean the payoff isn't there. For some, the payoff is just being at a show. For some, the payoff is being able to see their favorite superstar, their idol, their role model in person. Some people maybe don't care about the booking of a superstar that they're being 50-50 booked. Some people are just so happy to be in the building and to see their superhero, their icon, their role model on TV. Some people just want to see John Cena. Some people want to just see Roman Reigns. Some people want to see Styles. Some people just want New Japan Wrestling. Some people just want PWG. Some people only want WWE products. Some people want Saturday Morning Slam, which I don't know why anybody would want that, but some people do. The payoff isn't going to please everybody, and the payoff, to be honest with you, may be a dumb idea considering wrestling fans can be picky. But why don't we get a little bit creative? I want to know your guys' payoff for Kane. What does this all lead to? Has Kane been an authority figure? Has he been a figure within WWE that they can use, that they have turned, that they've used to their benefit? Is Kane just this guy that's caught up right now? Or do you truly believe Kane's burying superstars? I'd love to know your thought. Hashtag the payoff on Twitter. Well, let's discuss Kane, because my man's got some receipts. And Kane, I got to be honest, Kane, I dig you. Because I can see the bigger picture. Kane being involved with Finn. Finn's about to go on some next level shit. What's up, Bullet Club? Too sweet. Take that too sweet back. I mean, probably Roman Reigns is just going to go over to WrestleMania, but that's not the point.